Hello everyone, this is Funny Krishna and welcome to the Git and GitHub Masterclass. In this series, I'm going to take you from complete beginner to confident in Git with real hands-on practice, not just theory. So we have approximately like 25 plus videos planned along with the GitHub repository where you can practice everything step by step. You will find the link in the description and pinned comment. This is day one, and today we will start with the basics, which is understanding version control systems. Before we understand version control systems, let me give you a simple real world situation. Imagine you are working on a project. Okay, not a project. Let us say you completed your graduation or you are planning to move your job, right? So what you do? So you will start creating a resume, right? So how you save or how you modify the resume like this, right? So let us say first what you do, you will create a resume and I will say the resume dot doc, right? After few minutes or after few hours, okay, this resume is not good, so I want to change it, and you decide to keep like this resume underscore latest dot doc. Then you change it again resume dot latest underscore final dot doc, and then you change it like this resume underscore latest underscore final underscore new dot doc. Why you have changed in this way? Because you want to maintain multiple whenever you modify the file you want to keep the old version also. Now after a few days you want to go back to your version or you want to go back to your resume which fits into your requirement, because this might works for cloud, this might works for devops, this might works for cloud plus devops interviews. Like you created multiple variants of a resume, right? After a few days you want to go for a specific resume which fits into cloud plus devops, but you don't know which resume fits into it, right? You have to open, you have to go through and all, which file is correct, what changes were made, you don't know, right? Now consider the same thing with a real world a project. So you're working on a project, right? Project underscore final, then you did some changes, project underscore final underscore latest, you have saved in this way. Then again you did some changes, project underscore final underscore latest underscore new, which not looks good, right? But the problem here is after a few days you don't know like in which version you modified what changes and all the things. To avoid this, we need version controlling system. Not only this, now imagine in a team environment on a simple project, multiple people are getting like contributing to the single project. So if one person overwrites the code, right, you can't track who overwrite the code, or someone deletes an important file and there is no backup and suddenly the project breaks, right? This confusion, loss of history and lack of collaboration is exactly the problem, and this is where the version control systems came into the picture. They solve all of these problems in a structured and a reliable way. Now, let's understand what is a version controlling system. A version controlling system, or a VCS, we call that as a version controlling system, is a tool is a tool which helps to track the changes, like what changes was done on the file over a period of time, and also we can enabling a collaboration, and also we can maintaining the history of a work So in a short, I can say version control system is a tool that helps track changes to the files over time, enabling collaboration and maintaining a history of work. It is essential in the software development, document management, and any process involving multiple versions of a files. Don't think like version controlling system is only required in the software development. Let us say you are an author. You are an author, like you are writing a book. You can't write the entire book in a single day or a single hour, right? Every day you do modifications. After a few days you come back to the page number 5 and you did some changes because it might look good, right? In this case also we need version controlling system. You need a version controlling systems. And in these version controlling systems, there are three different types of version controlling systems are available. There are three different types of version controlling systems are available. What are those? Any idea? The first one is local version control system. We call it as LVCS. The second one is centralized version control system, CVCS. The third one is distributed version control system. And nowadays, obviously, the most popular one is a DVCS. That's for sure. But we should know about all the three version controlling systems, how they works and all. First, let us talk about local version control system, what it is and how it works and all. Any guess what it is and how it works? This is the simplest type of version control system. They operates entirely on the user's machine. It operates on your local machine only. So this is the local machine which you are using. Okay, you are the user, right? You are using this machine, and whatever the code you are writing, you are developing, everything will be stored here only. Everything will be stored in this machine only. And it maintains versioning. There is no doubt in that. But the versioning is maintained in the local machine without requiring a server or a network. These kind of local version control systems are typically used by individual developers, individual users, or personal projects where there is no requirement of a collaboration and all. But there is a problem in the local version control system. What is the problem? So here your code is available here. All the versions are available in the same system. Those versions acts as a backups. What if the entire system got crashed? You lose your code, you lose the backups, and you left with a nothing. You left with a nothing. So if you ask me, can you give me some examples for the local version control systems? These are the local version control systems. Let's say RCS, revision control system, SCCS, source code control system. These were popular local version control systems. Nowadays, no one is using these local version control systems because of these issues. You might lose all your changes, but it maintains the history, like who modified the files. I mean, when the files were modified and what modifications were done, so that you can revert all the changes at any point of time. You can track all the changes. There is a backup of each and every version. Everything's are there. These are simple things, good for individual projects. But the limitations are no collaboration. There is no collaboration, and there is a limited backups. Like you are storing the backups in the same machine, and this data cannot be accessed from a remote location. That's why these local version control systems has been replaced by modern version control systems. So already I mentioned, right? The local version control systems were useful in the early computing. Like modern projects often involved with the team members and the need of collaboration across different machines. Remote access is required. Backups became a crucial. As a result, more advanced, centralized, and distributed version control systems evolved in the market, and they have replaced local systems in most real world applications. Nowadays, no one is using these local version control systems at all. They are not using at all. Okay. Then the next one is centralized version control system. Can you guess what it is? Just comment your opinion on this. Like what is this centralized version control system? These are a type of version control systems where the project version history and the files are stored in a single central server. In a single central server. Let us say, okay, let us say here is a server. Assume this is a server. Okay. And there are multiple users like this. Multiple users should be there. This is a server. All the code will be stored in the centralized server, and these users will be connected with centralized server. Like this, all the users will be connected to the centralized users. Let us say these all are the developers, 4 developers. How it works: whenever, let us say, he is a developer 1, he is a developer 2, he is a developer 3, and he is going to be developer 4. All their work will be stored in the central repository. All the data will be stored in the central repository. So dev1 changes will be stored here, dev2 changes will be stored here, dev3 changes will be stored here, so that they can collaborate with each other. Whatever the files modified by dev1 can be seen by dev2 and all. And it maintains the history. Users can get the latest files from the central repository, and what we call that, they can update the data in the central repository and all. But the problem with this central version control system is there is a single source of truth. Means all the code is available in the central machine. If this server breaks, if this server got crashed, these users cannot get the data. I mean, cannot work at all. Again, the backups have to be used to recover the data and all. And continuously it requires a network connectivity even to save the files and all, because all the data is available here. From here they can view and they can modify. There are some limitations. What are those limitations? Continuously they need a network connectivity and a single point of failure. All the data is available in a single server. It requires constant network access and limited scalability. What does that mean is, if a large team working on the same central server it can lead to performance bottlenecks, as the server can become overloaded with requests and all. And now these centralized version systems also outdated. If you ask me a few things, there is something called a TFS, Team Foundation Server, or a Subversion, SVN, and a Perforce. These all are examples for centralized version control system. So here, these centralized version control systems are replaced by distributed version control systems. They are replaced by distributed version control systems. What are these distributed version control systems? These are the modern systems designed to allow multiple users to collaborate on project while providing a high level of flexibility and a fault tolerance. Let me show you the architecture. Let me show you the architecture of the distributed version control system so that you can understand that better. Let me open a Google just to get the images. So I can say central server, just an image. Just I'm going to get an image. Uh, okay, let me get this. Copy image. Okay, no issues. Okay, let us say this is the central repo. Somewhere is the okay. Now there are users. I think already you know, right? Users looks like the same as a centralized version control system, but it is different. There are three developers. Okay, let us say he's dev1 and he's a dev2 and he's a dev3. What happens here is in every user's machine, a copy of the repository will be maintained. I will show you. Let me draw the diagram so that you can understand it better. Okay, now a user a user will get a copy of the entire code into the local repository. This is a local repository. A copy of the repository, the remote repository where all the code exists. A copy of the entire repo will be stored in the user's local machine. This is going to be the user's local machine. This is going to be the user's local machine. Okay. So now let us draw the other things. So it doesn't require a constant network connection because the entire copy of the code will be available in the local machine of the user, the developer. So he can do all the changes. Once the network connection resume, he can push or he can update into the remote repository. This is what the distributed version control system, DVCS. Nowadays, everyone is using this DVCS only. These are modern systems designed to allow multiple users to collaborate on projects while providing a high level of flexibility and fault tolerance. In this DVCS, every user has a full copy of the repository, including the entire history of the project. This allows developers to work independently without relying on a constant communication with the central server. So, what are the key features here? You can maintain a local repository, no centralized dependency. It supports branching, merging, and all, which we will cover in the next coming videos, sure. And the developers can do offline work. Why? Since every user has a complete copy of the repository, they can make the commits, they can save the changes, they can create branches, they can perform almost all tasks without needing to be connected to a network. Okay, once the network connection resumes, they can update into the remote repository. How this distributed version control systems works? How is from the remote repository, they will clone the copy of the project into the local machine, that is called as a cloning, which gives them a complete copy of the entire project history and all files. Then they can perform all local operations. Whenever there is a change, they can perform that in the local repo. Once everything is done, they can synchronize. And also they can create the branches. What is a branch? We will discuss that. No need to worry. There's like somewhat advanced concept. At this point of time, we don't need that branching concept. So advantages, so whatever we discuss, these all are advantages. Offline capabilities, fault tolerance. Why fault tolerance? Every single user is having a full copy of the repository. There is no single point of failure. So this remote repo has to be failed. All the users' laptops to be failed at a time. Then we might lose the data. Faster operations because there is no dependency of network every minute whenever you want to save the changes. Okay, now what are the popular distributed version control system softwares? Git is one, and then Mercurial, Bazaar, Fossil. These all are distributed version control systems, but the Git is more popular. Now you might have a question why I'm not using a GitHub is a popular what we call that popular distributed version control system, because GitHub is not a tool. Git is a DVCS tool, distributed version control system tool, whereas the GitHub is a platform to host these distributed version control system repositories. If you ask me to compare the distributed version control system with the centralized version control systems for the sake of information, in the centralized version control system, just a single central repository exists, right? A single central repository exists, whereas in the distributed, what happens? In the distributed, every user has a full copy. Then collaboration. The collaboration relies on central server only, right? Whereas in the distributed version control system, peer-to-peer collaboration is possible. Peer-to-peer, like developer to developer, user to user collaboration is possible. Offline work is not possible in the centralized version control system. Whereas in the distributed version control system, the offline work is fully supported because it is not dependent on the network and all. Single point of failure, yes. In the centralized version control system, it depends on the network. Whereas the distributed, not required. Like because full copy is available. Performance, it is slower because everyone is getting data from the centralized server, and it is a faster because we have everything we are doing in a local machine, local operations. Branching and merging, more difficult, not that much easy, not user friendly. And in the distributed version control systems, it is easier and more efficient. More difficult in a centralized version control system, and here it is more easy and more efficient. Now if you ask me the conclusion, distributed version control systems like a Git and Mercurial provides flexible and robust workflows that support both individual and collaborative development, because they enable offline work, reduce dependency on the central server, right? And they offer efficient branching things and merging PR, right? While they have we have something to learn, right? But when comparatively with the centralized systems, DVCS has become the standard for modern software deployment, particularly for large and geographically distributed teams. large and geographically distributed teams. So I think you got some clarity about what is a version control systems and why we need those version control systems in the real time. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video. And the nodes is available in the GitHub repository, and the GitHub repository is available in the description of this video. And also I am going to pin the link in the comment section as a first comment. And always I recommend you, not from this video, from the next video, we do have the hands-on exercises and all. So always I recommend you to complete the hands-on exercises to feel comfortable with the concepts. That's all for this video. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we will explore what is a Git, why we need a Git, and what is a Git versus GitHub, and what is the architecture of the Git. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet in the next video.